Hello. Thank you so much. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I know we've had a long day, but we have a very important topic to discuss here, and cybersecurity, like AI, is always the most interesting and the most happening thing happening in any forum. Now, we've spoken enough about AI in the last panel, so I will not repeat of what has already been said. Let me just begin by saying that AI is being today used by the hacker community and the bad actors in a big way. May it be AI-generated attacks and polymorphic malware like the Black Mamba attack came in a few years back. Or may it be AI-backed, AI-generated social engineering, AI-generated kind of phishing emails. So AI is being used in a big way by the hackers and by the bad actors. So if they can use, obviously we all need to then upgrade ourselves, and we also, to protect our networks, to protect our devices, to protect our data, need to, I think, elevate ourselves and start using AI. So AI is being used in the cybersecurity world. Since I work in the cybersecurity industry, it is being used in a big way. And today we are here to kind of figure out how the public sector undertakings, who are like the crown jewels of this country, may it be the power, may it be irrigation, may it be the defense, I mean, they have played a very, very important role in the development of this nation. How they are going to leverage the power of AI in securing their data, in securing their networks, and securing their endpoints. So with that as a background, I would first like to invite Mr. Kapil Jaiswal, and I would like to seek your views that how are AI and hybrid technology reshaping the cybersecurity landscape for PSUs, and what are the emerging threats and attack methodologies that should be the top priority?
Thanks for the question, sir. The last 3 days have been actually brought this threat of AI and cybersecurity into the front news channels. What happened in Israel, what Israel has undertaken in Lebanon, was a classical cyber attack manifesting itself from only the computer domain going into the physical domain and actually causing harm. A classical supply chain threat which has actually, for the first time in the world, which has manifested into the physical casualty. So that's the threat of the cyber. Whether it was combined in AI or not, that's a slightly different issue. But that was a threat of a cyber which is there. Now, if that thing is augmented with the capability of the AIs, it's a very, very threat scenario, very heavy threat scenario, which we need to look at it. Now, the AI has the potential to fast track the complete Metro attack chain stages. So we have 7 stages of once you try to launch an attack on any system, starting from the reconnaissance. AI can facilitate the reconnaissance of the targets. When the target is analyzed and the initial recon detail is available, AI can help map the versions of the web servers or the email servers to the threats which are available or the threat vectors which are available. The next stage, AI can recommend the stages of the exploitation of that particular target. Third stage, AI can itself help in the exploit developments which are not detected by the present generation of firewalls. Fourth stage, once you reach inside the network, within the network, how to undertake the privilege escalation, which presently takes the attackers 2 to 3 days to scan the complete network, identify their credential, find the important credential, try to compromise it, do the privilege escalation. That process completely can be automated and made to happen, say, within the next 5, 10, 15 minutes. So the amount of threat which is emerging with the merging of AI with cyber is tremendous. Now, machine learning or AI had a two kind of genres. One was pre-LLM era, where it was kind of a more neural networks or decision trees which are not so usable compared to the where the Gen AI has become available and it is getting democratized. Even today, we are still slightly better off because the cost prohibition of training a full foundational model or a LLM by an individual actor or a small team is not possible. It requires tremendous amount of resources in terms of money, the GPUs, the servers and other things. However, as it is getting democratized tomorrow, there may be LLMs which may be purely designed to execute these kind of the attack scenario which I just described. So the combination of AI and the cyber, it has a potential to disrupt the cyber world. The threat has to be now tackled in the other side by the defender also, has to be similarly updated and use the technology which is being enabled by these systems to develop defensive measures, better analysis, better threat management, better detection of exploitation of a system undergoing. So all those processes which the attacker is trying to use, similarly they can also be used for the defensive purposes. So like always, it has always been a cat and mouse game. So this will also continue. However, the weaponization of the technology from the hacker side is much faster, and development of defensive technology by its nature it takes longer and takes more of effort. So that's the challenge which the cyber defense community has, and that's the challenge which as all the organization and especially those who are affected by the supply chain management, which most of our PSUs are, they will have to face.
Thank you. I think you set the stage very beautifully how AI can be used in various facets and aspects of cybersecurity, cyber defense to be precise actually. Now, when we talk of cybersecurity, prevention is perhaps just the first step. Cybersecurity today involves deception, it involves detection and even the response. So keeping that in mind, Ritu, let me ask you, what strategic framework can PSUs adopt to effectively leveraging the AI in threat detection and threat response? And how can machine learning algorithms and predictive analytics optimize the proactive security?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think now that we understand the extent of damage a cyber threat can cause, and as our previous speaker has very rightly pointed out the examples, we do understand that in the current era, the pace of changes or pace of enhancement in threat perception is far higher than what we can perceive a few years back. So today, it is important for every organization, and for that matter, even every individual to have, to be aware of these threats and to be aware of the cyber security protocols or tools available in the market which can be used to safeguard ourselves and our assets. But if I talk about PSUs specifically, PSUs are more prone to these threats because one, PSUs are handling critical infrastructure, be it physical infrastructure or even digital infrastructure. And two, they are more prone to such attacks because they are the face of a government, they are the face of the nation, and hence any damage to that would obviously cause a greater damage to the country itself. So now that we know that PSUs will have to be more alert in threat detection and cannot adopt the traditional reactive approach for threat detection, it is important and imperative to have a proactive framework in place. When I say proactive framework, we have seen organizations adopting to newer technologies, but the thing which lacks in the whole approach is a proper governance model. So cybersecurity is not an IT project. it is no more an IT project. It has to get imbibed in the bloodstreams of an organization, and PSUs specifically. So every stakeholder in a PSU ecosystem should own this cybersecurity domain and should own the should have the onus of fighting with these attackers. And specifically, I want to mention the vendor or the contractor ecosystem, because PSUs generally have this huge ecosystem of contractors. Now that we have discussed the contractors and external ecosystems, PSUs have critical infrastructure which have unique OT system setup, and these OT systems are tailor-made or very focused IT solutions which are put in place by the PSUs to achieve a particular target or achieve a particular objective, be it railways, be it your metro systems or even utility sector. The huge volume and huge solution implemented for such facilities needs to take care of cyber security in a layered IT framework, layered AI framework basically, where one can proactively detect any threat which is coming its way and should have a governance process in place so that once detected, now what? Now what has to be done? Who has to take care of what situation? Is very critical, and we have seen in organizations where they have wonderful systems in place, but they don't have the governance process in place so that even if a threat is detected, it goes unnoticed for a longer period of time. By that time, a lot of damage has already happened in the organization. Two, these systems have to be in self-learning mode, as sir also mentioned that it is difficult to be one step ahead of what the attackers are thinking, and hence the system should be built in such a way that it should learn by itself, and machine learning is one technology which gives us that opportunity. Also, I want to mention here is when we think of such solutions, we sometimes tend to get carried away by the jargons or the software solutions which are available in the market. And we many a times tend to forget the real scenario or the real problem statement that we are solving. Hence, for any organization who is going to set up a cybersecurity framework should first analyze the vulnerabilities which are there in the system, and then instead of fitting themselves into an off-the-shelf product which is available in the market, it is important to tailor a solution specific to their needs, which actually attacks or focuses on the needs that the organization have. Just to give a quick example, most of these OT systems are implemented on-prem. So we inherently try to have a air gap built around them so that there is less vulnerability of any external threat coming into it. Obviously, there are internal threats also, but then at least we are perceived to be more secure from external threats. But now to safeguard our assets, if I want to implement an cybersecurity tool which is essentially on cloud or on external environment, because these tools require regular updates, they require continuous learning, and for that learning they need data which is obviously not available in your on-prem solution. It requires data from external sources. So we tend to integrate and we tend to use those solutions into our on-prem solution. And in doing so, we are introducing more vulnerabilities in our system because we are in a way puncturing this air gap which is around our OT system. So we need to be very careful while we are deciding or while we are framing this this whole framework of cybersecurity in IT systems. So just to sum up, I think the approach for implementing a proactive AI-driven cybersecurity framework has to be more agile in itself. It cannot be in waterfall model. It has to continuously evolve as we perceive and as we understand the threat landscape which is there around us. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I couldn't agree with you more that, we have to be a little careful when we implement solutions based on a technology which is still maturing itself. You mentioned about OT systems. So OT generates a tremendous amount of data, and I think AI is a tool which can perhaps analyze that data and come up with some wonderful solutions. So let me come to Mr. Anil, and Mr. Anil, like I just said that, AI could be used for anomaly detection and predictive maintenance while maintaining the integrity of OT systems. PSUs, specifically those involved in production, really, rely very heavily on OT systems for smooth functioning. Could you please throw some light on how AI can be exploited, especially in the energy sector where OT systems are extensively used to scale up energy efficiency?
Thank you. This is a very pertinent question, and I come from energy efficiency field. So, actually, energy efficiency is a need for every sector, and industries are already focusing on it, and they are trying to conserve their resources, energy in every processes. So all kinds of IT, OT, all levels of automation, artificial intelligences are being built up on that. And then talking about the energy efficiency in all the sectors, when we are going for the energy efficiency as an organization, Energy Efficiency Services Limited, ESL, so there we are touching the lives of entire nation, means public at large. So what is happening? We are focusing on energy. Just I will tell a little bit of background that we are focusing on energy efficiency of the entire nation because we have to achieve net zero 2070, and that cannot be only focusing to the industries. It will be touching to entire mass of India. So when we are bringing in various kinds of energy efficient technologies and which are scalable, energy efficiency products, appliances, and all those things, so it will definitely need a large number of enormous production. And I will tell one certain figure that our per capita energy consumption at present is 1/3 of world's average per capita energy consumption. And what does it mean? It means we are already growing. So what does it mean? If we will be growing at the level of world's average, we will be needing 3 times of energy. And if you are, let's say, developed country like US, its per capita energy consumption is from ours, it is 13 times of that. If we will become like US, then our energy need will be 13 times. Can you imagine even 3 times? And 13 times is beyond any question. So what we need? We need energy efficiency first, and then conservation of energy. And the conservation of energy and resources will come from this all kinds of IT, OT, AI implementation, everything. So there comes the need of this. And why these kinds of implementation will take place? You see, when we are going to implement this energy efficiency processes, there will be need of around, there are various kinds of calculations. So when we will be saving all those things, what the saving potential is about, it's around 300 billion units by 2031. And this is an electrical, and then oil equivalent, it is additionally you can add 90 million tons of oil equivalent also. Additionally you can add that. So around, if you are saving 300 billion units, so it means you are going to avoid the capacity of around 5,000 megawatt power plants. So this is the capacity avoidance. So means if you are going to invest on these things, it will, a huge investment is required. Then investment will be of the tune of around 10 lakhs crore by 2031. And the payback by the energy efficiency, you are finding that this calculation of energy saving, it will will be around 6 point something lakh crores in this by 2031. Means what? Means by less than the payback, less than 2 years, the payback is there. So that kind of potential is there. So the investment will be huge, and conservation will be the key, because energy efficiency will be brought down by the equipments. Let's say from GLS to LED lights have been brought in. So 100 to 9 watt it has been already brought in. Fans will be coming. Some industrial technology will come. So energy will come down. And then another kind of saving will happen from the conservation side, where the artificial intelligence is going to play a huge role. And here, operational data, predictive maintenance, because shutdown time will be intolerable, zero tolerance for shutdown. So that kind of intelligence is to be built in. So when these are to be built in, there will be, these I am talking about the future kind of thing. There will be the malfunctions in that. So we will have to protect ourselves from the malfunctioning, spurious triggering, and then sabotages also, because public sector plants are very much prone and very much in the eye of sabotage. So these are the challenges which our AI world is going to face. So and if we want to progress in this direction, in the net zero direction, so this is the thing, the implementation of AI and this Internet of Things and everything, OT thing. So this is the very imperative thing which is to be implemented.
Thank you so much. So energy is perhaps one of the those critical infrastructures which is extremely diverse. We have energy coming from nuclear source. We have energy coming from thermal to micro hydel projects. With such a diverse kind of a scenario where you have so many sources, and then plus you have your distribution, the power distribution and the automated metering. So you have a very large threat landscape. Do you feel AI can play a big role in kind of protecting this entire landscape of the power sector?
Actually, the AI, the way it is generating, is going to be the only solution. Just because manually managing and taking the decision on the real time basis, whether for the wind power, for the nuclear power, for the thermal power, and integrating into the grid, and transmitting power to the desired consumer, which power is to be transmitted and at what time. So that will really need the robust AI system to be built in. And while it will be built in, it will take tremendous amount of data, and tremendous amount of data will give the required intelligence, which is the crux of the AI. And one more thing is going to come in, that when we are going for entire implementation, there will be out of the day, it is not far, that time is not far, when time of the day tariff will be implemented all throughout. It is there in the industries. It is going to be implemented all through. So when the user will be able to, we have to pay different tariffs at the different time of use. So at that time also, this intelligence will come into the picture when utilities will be building demand response system. At present they are banking on demand side management, then demand response system will come into the picture when they will be, when user will be giving their consent to shut down their appliances at when the peak is, that the tariff is high. So that kind, and that will give another kind of intelligence in the demand response system. So these kind of data are also to be built in, and it will no longer depend on the user. The intelligence will be built in that also. So it will encompass entire field of the energy producer and the user also. And energy efficiency, you can say it's going to be another kind of energy producing thing. I always keep on saying that if you are saving this around 300 billion units, and it is 90 million tons of oil equivalent, it means you are avoiding this 5,000 megawatt capacity. Means it's like installing that. If you are investing in that, it's like installing that kind of power plant. So that is going to be another kind of energy generating method. And here the role will be tremendous of this AI platform.
Thank you so much. Now, one of the biggest fears when you use a new technology, and especially technology like AI, which relies extremely heavily on data and the training it does on the training data, is that my data may vanish, my data may be misused by the LLM or by the application. Now, let me ask Mr. Subhash, what challenges do you think PSUs face in maintaining this data privacy and the integrity as AI-driven systems rely very heavily on data, and what advanced techniques and compliance measures can be employed to safeguard sensitive information?
Thank you, Sanjeev. Just let me allow to connect some points. I think there is a legacy infra transformation is there, and AI is there, hybrid is there, data privacy, integrity, all these things. In my point of view, I think we have to understand first, we sit out from our seat and take the round of our campus, what we are doing. But in whole totality, if you think about the one thing is missing, I think one or two things is missing, that is the people. Nobody is talking about the people. And I don't know in that perspective that if AI has come and we will sit on our seat and we put all the operations and security in a autopilot mode, it is very dangerous and it could not be. And now I would take the baton from Ritu. I think she has very well said that 2 or 3 things which I got up. One thing is the cybersecurity is not a technology war. It is the psychologically and business disturbance and any country or you can say to disturb the thing. And second thing is the customization, which she said that, and it is very, very right. So first we have to understand for any organization why I need cybersecurity, AI and all these things. Because I already have transformed my legacy solution or legacy system into the digital. And now digital again, it has been disturbed by the AI. Now I have no choice that the implementation of next technology, that is AI, I have to implement. But there are a lot of challenges. I think everybody understands that one. And why it is needed and how we can mitigate and we can find out the solution. Again, I would put people in the center. Because why? In nowadays, if I am not implementing the AI, there is a deficiency, means you can say it is the real-time situation. In the human being or the system we are using out now, there may be any delay or it is very difficult to find out any incident because we stick on the screen that what is happening and how we analyze the things. And if we implement the AI, there are definitely challenges, that is data privacy and integrity. It is very first, I think you can say, because we are the custodian of that data. It is not my personal data. We are the custodian of data of nation assets, critical assets. So we have to understand why we are doing or why we are sitting and why we are implementing any technology. It is not my personal. It is very huge responsibility to us. First of all, and the organization which he delivering to the nation, it is very critical. It is very critical. So during the implementation AI, there are a lot of things and major are data privacy or data integrity, and the fairness is the model AI, how it is using, whether it may be biased also, you cannot say. it is biased. And the data you feed, it depends upon that. And one thing more, for AI, we are just considering it is the everything you can do. But it is the taking data to the human and saying to human, means just like आप और अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं और मैं आपको बात करूं और वो ही बात आप मेरे को बता दो, चला दो. It's not a good idea. The thing is that people must be in the center. Or AI cannot understand the contextual situation also, emotional or psychological situation also. That's why I have said that I have to take the round to the organization, then you have to understand the things. Otherwise, AI will only give the data on your what you have feed. So the thing is that challenges are there, but we can take the measure while we are implementing the AI because it is required. There are 2 or 3 things threat are coming. It is for human or the legacy technology or the AI threat also. So we have to implement all the things because one thing I want to submit also. AI and human, they are not replacing to each other. They are the complementing. And there is a threat also. We have to understand because AI is the weapon for me and it is not destroying to the human. So we have to understand why implementing the AI technology and all the devices. And the process and the customization, first I have to understand which type of requirement I have to implement. It should not be in vanilla version. The things for my business or business objective of the organization, I have to just choose that thing. And second thing is that there is also a, you can say gap. The gap is that the technology is coming to me, there is a skill set issue. Reason is that any organization, they do not have that type of skill set because every technology, they are doing their own best. They are doing their own best. But during the operation and its utilization, the technology provider, they must also understand they should supply a skill set with that technology that will be implemented. Then that can make a more sense. Otherwise, it will harm to you. So the thing is that we have to understand the customization, segmentation, and within your organization. And one thing I want to add here, the things are happening in 2 days. If AI is implemented, the data it is taking, it is within the organization, but have we feed that data the external threat that is happening in Pager and all this thing? Did we? So we have any organization, they have to understand their things. So this is my all the summation. Thank you.
I couldn't agree with you more that, we have to place people in the center. Finally, this is all happening for the citizens of this country. So completely agree on that with you. And one of the issues with AI is, of course, data poisoning and your solutions, whatever, the outcomes that the AI is giving may vary when data poisoning happens. So thank you so much for your views. Now, if a hacker is able to successfully penetrate my system as a CISO, I need to respond and recover in the fastest time frame and get over with the attacks as soon as possible. So let me come to you, Kuldeep, and ask you, how can AI-driven automation and real-time analytics improve incidents response and recovery protocols, establishing faster identification and mitigation of security incidents?
So, yeah, thanks for the question. I think that is a logical progression of the discussion that we were having. Uses of AI in general, and then uses of AI by attackers, and then how, when we are defending these attacks, how can we use AI? So first of all, I think, we all know that probably, and it may be noted that it is not a new thing, right? it is already being used. AI is being used across cybersecurity solutions, which are being used by multiple organizations. What we can say that the improvement and probably the focus area and the advancement, that is what we are seeing as of now, as far as uses of AI in cybersecurity solutions, technologies is concerned. So first of all, let's suppose if we talk about, you talked about incident response and recovery. So in incident response, obviously you have to be prepared first of all for the proper detection, right? For detection, you need visibility. During visibility, how AI can contribute, that is really one of the best parts, because the kind of attack surface right now organizations are having, that is spanning from data centers hosted on-prem to cloud, and maybe your data is being stored by some third party there too. So I think there are already solutions which deploy these artificial intelligence technologies and obviously ML algorithms also to find out what kind of attack surface an organization can have. And then going further, what are the usual issues, misconfigurations, probably something has been left open and all that, that can be coming into picture. So the detection part is basically improved by uses of these AI techniques, AI as well as ML techniques. But, as some of us are already talking about, we need to understand the context in which it is being done. So many times you will see that general kind of, happenings would be reported. Okay, this is down, probably this is not working well, all that. But whether it is actually making any sense to an enterprise, that will come into picture only when you are actually able to analyze those false positives, if I can say so, right? So that is very important. Then after that, once this attack surface detection is done, the analysis of the data that you already have will occur. So in that, I would say that anomaly detection is already being done. That is being done by XDR systems, by SIEMs also already in place. And for OT also, there are different kind of anomaly detection systems. In every SIEM, you'll have some kind of baseline. Okay, based on that, it will detect, okay, probably this is the anomaly that you can probably look and analyze into. What we can further do, that some kind of automation may be built into that if something like this is being seen, what are the actions that probably can be taken, that are already being taken care by playbooks, that brings us to the SOAR part. So that is being done, and then again threat intel. So whenever threat intel collaboration is being done, either through SIEM or through XDR, there are several threat feeds that, the tool itself can go and, enrich the data, provide you more context. Okay, if this is related to any particular TTPs that have been seen, whether the exploitability is much more than what is being seen earlier, right? So as of now, these recent exploitation trend, basically, the vulnerabilities that are being seen most of the time, right? Those things basically can be built into. And based on that, the job of at least L1 and L2 can be minimized to the extent that the tickets may be created to the relevant teams for the detailed analysis after that. So yeah, at every step you are seeing that there are things that can be done. But at end of all this, I would again say that I would share the sentiment that it is the analyst that, is sitting there and they need to finally analyze the things. Whether, many times what happens, that I have seen this in our systems also, sometimes something is being picked up by automatically, by some analysis, that an internal IP, let's suppose, that it is a CNC call, right? After that, all the traffic is being analyzed and every endpoint is being detected as malware infected because it is connecting to a CNC IP. But the CNC IP is in fact lying in our own environment, right? So this is not a CNC IP at all. This is something else. So, before it can become a large problem, somebody needs to come in. So always the guardrails for AI are needed everywhere, right? Thank you.
So tell me, do you see a time coming when perhaps AI could replace the person who's sitting and analyzing?
No, short answer would be no. Long answer would be, the thing is that we can see it this way. They are not going to replace the analyst at any point of time, but they will be helping the analyst to improve the response time, right? The efficiency, the contextual enrichment, etc. Everything can be done. Like in generative AI, what are we seeing right now? You know, people were writing good English. They were very good in verbal communications. Now, if you are using the generative AI also, you can further improve the quality, and the time would be much more less as compared to. So that's how. I mean, it is an enabler. It is not the driver anytime.
So my job is safe, that means. All right.
Of all of us.
Now, one of the biggest issues with AI today is that it could be biased and unethical, and we've had a large number of cases which have come to news recently on this. Now, and hence there is a constant endeavor for a regulation framework for AI. Now, Karan, do you feel what kind of ethical and regulatory consideration should be addressed when using AI and such hybrid technologies in cybersecurity, and how PSUs can ensure adherence to such emerging security standards?
Thank you, sir. So, first of all, I would like to state that views are solely mine and don't represent my organization in any way. I also understand that time is up, and I would not like to keep my esteemed panelists and the remaining audience from the sumptuous lunch that is waiting. So I'll keep it very short and very brief. First of all, the AI. I just read a report today by EY, and it said that the AI's market is around $0.15 trillion USD in 2023, and it will grow at a CAGR of 38.6% and would reach around 1.5 trillion USD by the end of 2030. So that is what that is the industry that we are looking at. The sheer size is astronomical. And now coming to its application, not only in cybersecurity, I would briefly sum up its role in DPIs also. So I say the crown jewel for India today is digital public infrastructure, the UPI stack, the unified lending model, the Aadhaar, and that is somewhere where the government, I believe, is looking to implement AI models. I was listening to Secretary of Ministry of Public Grievances, and he was mentioning that they are looking to implement AI models in CP-Grams portal because they have a large enough data set, a large enough data lake now, and that is something that they are looking at. So there is there's a regulatory aspect obviously, but there is the ethical aspect that we were coming to, the biasing model. You know, if these data sets are not regularized or are not simplified or normalized and have a particular bias, we would lead to the same biases in the data set, and these biases would then further come up into the decision making. But the worst thing that can happen is if we amplify the societal biases. Like if we have somebody from a particular group, community, or an individual who's already facing discrimination, and because of the data set, again, he's pinpointed to the blame, he's not given that due. Like we have coming up this unified lending model, and somehow a particular group or a community is devoid of that credit because of some characteristics that come out in the data. So that becomes a huge problem, especially when it comes to digital governance, digital public infrastructure. Now coming to cybersecurity. So where can AI help us? As my esteemed panelist said, we cannot replace the analyst, and I agree, we cannot. But the speed at which our threats are evolving, the threat actors are evolving, we need AI. That's the call of the hour. Now, where does AI help us? Reducing false positive, analyzing huge amounts of data, and then reducing the false positive into a sizable number so that we can actually see what is happening. Maybe automating the incident response also once we have reached that level of maturity. So, regulatory aspects. Number one, DPDP, digital data protection. That is the first thing where we have to ensure, if we are training a data set, if we are going to implement AI models for decision making, so we have to ensure that the PI data is either anonymized or kept in a state where it is not revealed. Second one, NITI Aayog responsible AI guidelines. that was released somewhere in 22, 23. So this is another framework that builds on how to build a AI governance model so that we use AI responsibly and are not, we don't have the same disaster decision as what Gemini did back when it was launched. The other one, which is recently launched last year, I guess, is the ISO AI model. That also gives a lot of regulatory perspective to what models you are trying to build and how you can responsibly govern them. Then obviously, our law in this regard is the call of the hour, but we will see what happens. We took around 7 years for the DPDP to finally mature into an act. So, like Europe has got a AI law recently passed 3 months back, and we did GPI summit, and a lot is happening in the domain. But let's see how it evolves into a concrete regulatory landscape. Then coming into the ethical considerations, number one is again, which I mentioned previously, is AI biases. We have to, the AI biases can creep into the system design or maybe the algorithm design or most likely into the data set. So that is somewhere we need to have that focus, that governance model needs to focus that no biases should enter the system at any point, so that we can build a framework or a governance model or an AI decision making tool which can give you an unbiased decision. That is the first thing, AI biases. The second one is transparency and explainability. So the user must understand how is the decision making happening. It should not be jing bang happening and then decision comes A, B, C, D. So he should understand how it works. That is how the trust will be developed. Third and most important is accountability. We should have a clear policy who is accountable for the decision making that the system is doing. Now, how do we imbibe these regulatory and ethical consideration is, I would go on to the same old school book. We have to do constant security awareness and training of the users. We have to make them aware that this is happening, this will come, this might not replace you, but it is going to become an essential complementary skill that needs to be learned up, and there's no doing without it. As it looks now, there's no going ahead without it. So that'll be my brief answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I completely agree on that. User awareness has to be launched on a massive scale in this country. We are the most populated country in the world, and to make every individual aware that this is what you are going to use and it could be biased and ethically wrong. Yes, that kind of awareness needs to be spread. We also have a friend from the industry, so let me come to you, Nitin, now. Two quick questions to you. One, so since you work in the forensics industry, do you feel that AI will perhaps replace the human being as far as forensics is concerned? And two, do you see a big amount of collaboration happening in as far as AI-based forensic tools are concerned and the government? Do you feel that there is going to be, there is big business going to happen there?
Sir, I would like to answer this from two perspectives. One is short term and there is long term. Short term, no replacement. Okay. But I'm afraid long term, there will be replacements, like you can say, in legacy world, if one collaborative task is being performed by 100 individuals, and if that boils down to one individual, 1:100, I consider it a replacement. Okay. For me, it is replacement, because all major decisions, intermediate stuff, things are being answered by the algorithms and models, etc. Okay. So long term, you are from defense. You've seen that these technologies are primarily designed for defense and military purposes. Earlier, you see drones. Drones were not designed to take a dula-dulan photograph in the wedding ceremonies. They were designed for ISR missions. Okay. But now, miniaturized, completely replaced things. So in long term, there will be reduction. Mm, much more things will move towards automation.
And do you see more collaboration happening in between the PSUs and the private industry as far as AI applications are concerned?
Yes, and it's already happening, sir.
It's happening.
It's already happening.
Okay.
Private organizations in this space are engaged in providing all different kind of solutions with the perspective of protecting their organization's network, both on the premises as well as in the cloud, at endpoint level, at network level. And when I say endpoint, not only your desktops and laptops, cell phones, which are now the key, because landscape is, attack surface is now shifting from laptop desktop to cell phones. On laptop desktop, you are live for 4 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours max. But cell phones, 24/7 live. And the kind of material and what we call masala you have in your cell phones is specifically the individuals of high value individuals of high value organization. Okay, the kind of data they have. So yes.
Well, thank you so much. Looking forward to securing the crown jewels of the country with a lot of collaboration. Thank you so much. I had a lot of other questions, but there is time constraint, and there is, of course, wonderful lunch waiting for all of us. So thank you all very much for being so active in participating and answering to all the queries that we had. All that remains for me is to thank all of you and the organizers for this. Thank you.